Good evening. It's Monday, July 18th, 2022. Welcome back to BoomerRexTonight, your nearly daily source for news and politics. I'm RisenLadyHeathen. Hey, asshole. What separates our show from other millennial news podcasts?
That now we have informed opinions from a boomer, semi-informed opinions from a Gen Zer, and two millennials who stumble around eating avocado toast most of the time like yard dinosaurs.
Sounds about right.
Love me some avocado toast. Good on burgers, too.
Oh my god, right?
Fucking, you are
roasted bell pepper.
correct. We have a boomer and a Gen Zer, and not just any boomer and Gen Zer. We have Mr. BoomerRex himself.
Help.
And my spawn, Sleet.
I don't know. I'm not being paid.
you two eat. Asshole and Boomer eat, sleep, and breathe politics, and Sleet and I are learning that's 4 unique perspectives we share along with the facts from our literal round table.
You were born in a terminal stage empire, in terminal stage capitalism. You're lucky they aren't grinding up and snorting your bones yet.
And we have good peer-reviewed medical data
Yeah.
that says grinding up, taking all your blood and so forth could make old people young again. So you might want to think
We're
about
gonna vampire out. At least, oh my god, please, fucking boomers. Look, I know you're gonna fuck us on everything else. If it's not gonna be a zombie apocalypse, fucking vampires, man. Come on, you've gotta pick vampires.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
gotta, do not go into horrible corporate fucking kleptocracy. That is lame.
Yeah.
All right, it's just the news Monday. Let's dig right into
I
our
like this.
headlines. Gotcha. What's going on here?
Well, I thought this one was relevant to us since we face this problem probably a couple of times a day, every day. So a family's beloved pet cat that's been dodging airport personnel, airline employees, animal experts, and local animal welfare folks after escaping a pet carrier at Boston Logan about
Sounds
3
about right.
weeks ago.
Go with
Anyway,
the cat.
his time on the lam started on June the 24th when Sally and her husband Rich returned to the U.S. from 15 years in Germany with the Army. When their Lufthansa flight landed, the 4-year-old black cat with green eyes saw some birds and escaped her cage. And so she's been running around the airport, and I've been in the bowels of Boston Logan, back of the house at Boston Logan Airport. You're not ever going to catch a
Oh,
cat
yeah, no,
there.
turns
it's
out-
not happening.
Fucking whose permanent change of duty station to Fort Living Room has been interrupted by some
Yeah.
temporary duty at Camp Luggage Rack. Go
Yeah.
get your idiot cat. You're the only one who's gonna.
Yeah.
Every other straight, like, they can feed it.
Yeah. They said finally whether, the cat was fatigued or hungry or just lonesome for people, she finally surrendered herself and she's been taken home.
Excellent.
So way to go, kitty cat.
Yeah.
You had an adventure.
Yep.
Pretty damn cool. And you didn't get squished in the conveyor belt. And you
You
didn't
didn't
get...
die, and you had
Yeah.
a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I love hearing
Sounds
stories
like fun.
like that. All right.
Can I tell my story about the luggage at Boston Logan?
Sure.
So I got off a flight from Europe one night, and so we're all standing there waiting for our luggage, and there's a serpentine conveyor belt that they put the luggage on, and it just goes in a circle, right? And if you pick it up, that makes a hole, and they put some new baggage on the other side of the wall. And so I was standing next to a young German woman, and she had seen her suitcase too late and had chased it down to where it disappeared through the wall to go around again. And she turned to me and she said, "Where do they go?" And I said, "Oh, no, it's really simple. It just goes straight into the shredder." And at that exact instant, there was this incredibly shredder sounding noise from the other side of the wall. And I mean, she just went gray. And I said, "No, it'll be back around. It's just a loop."
I was telling an asshole joke that was gonna be funny for half a second,
Yeah,
and then that noise
exactly.
happened. And I feel
But it was,
yeah.
so anyway. Yeah, the timing was as good as the brass cannon. Anyway. So,
All right. Maybe a different weapon.
so this one's a little concerning. The Russians have decided to use a weapon they actually have.
Uh-oh.
They're waging an expanding information war throughout Eastern Europe using fake accounts, propaganda, bots, etc., to spread fears about refugees and rising fuel prices, and saying that West is an unreliable ally. And so in Bulgaria, the Kremlin paid journalists, political analysts, and other influential citizens 2,000 euros a month to post pro-Russian content online.
Oh, God, of course they did.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, a senior Bulgarian official revealed that this month. Researchers have also uncovered sophisticated networks of fake accounts, bots, and trolls. We know the Russians are good at that. We know they're good at that because they elected the orange moron
Yep.
Using
those tools in the U.S.
Yep.
Well, to be fair, it's easier to use them in the U.S. than throughout Europe. The U.S. is a lot less weird when it comes to the internet. than
Well,
Europe
that's not
is.
as true as you'd like to think.
Yeah.
Europeans like to think that they're above such things, but they are just as susceptible to it as everybody
I
else.
think I'd like to just start at, if you're on the internet, you almost certainly speak English, since 92% of the internet's content is in English. And so that's us and a handful of countries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, these campaigns are incredibly cost-effective. They're extraordinarily effective.
And Americans are uniquely stupid.
Well, and
Or hopeful, or whatever euphemism we're going to use next
right.
time.
Right.
Yep. So anyway, it's disturbing that Bulgaria hasn't stopped them yet. We'll see.
All right.
I mean, I would.
It's Belarus is a bad one.
Yeah, Belarus is the bad one.
Active
If I were Bulgaria, I would be considering
Loads of them aren't
locking them up
Oh, yeah.
for giving aid and comfort to the enemy.
I would have a much ruder conversation with the ICANN kids and be like, you can put them off the internet, or we can put you off the internet.
Yeah.
All right. How to kill your economy? Is this like a step-by-step or?
Yeah, kinda.
The U.S. history, 1947 to wait, what?
So Russia's Gazprom has
Nah,
declared force majeure on gas supplies to Europe.
certainly trying to.
Right. Well, they declared
Yes.
that. Right. So they're talking about not resuming the flows of Nord, whatever it is, one.
Nord 1.
Yeah. Anyway, so okay, fine. And they're using their natural gas as a weapon against Europe. That's fine, right? European leaders have ramped up their push to secure alternative energy supplies. So,
Thanks
to
for
compete,
directly helping the environment.
It certainly made
where
it
you
easier.
get natural gas doesn't make any difference on Earth.
No, but having to leave half of known current supplies in the ground means
Yep.
it's going to come out of Russia's future.
Yep. Anyway, so they're bracing themselves for a future where Russia doesn't supply gas. Okay, great. So the leaders of Italy, France, and the European Union have sealed deals with Algeria, Azerbaijan, and United Arab Emirates.
Yeah.
So these aren't things that are going to be easily undone. Russia has really fucked itself in this conversation. So,
Permanently.
it's going to look permanent to the Russians.
They've also managed to force Europe into putting a lot of their infrastructure in countries Russia can easily operate in. So, again, they would have to destroy pipelines and stuff that is no shit acts of war.
Yep.
And like this goes from being a fight in Ukraine over parts of Ukraine to what someone should be telling Russia is they no longer need to worry about Siberia. That is not part of their global future. They will not be a frosty Saudi Arabia anymore.
Yeah.
That ship has probably sailed, and this is where you start to see it being permanent for the reasons you discussed.
Yeah, exactly.
That everyone who's making money on this is going to spend all of the money
Yep.
they're making on this, making sure it continues that way.
And
So-
then some.
Europe has taken several of the countries in Europe have taken great strides on solar. Solar is one of the few things you can do in a relative hurry. Wind takes longer, and nuclear takes for goddamn ever.
So not only has Russia made itself weaker, it's made China stronger.
Yeah. Which I have no heartburn buying.
No,
You know, cheap Chinese solar panels.
We
And if they
also
wanna
don't send a
continue to-
navy out every year to do an invasion on each other that we call war games.
Yeah. So anyway, plus the factories are all set up to run on natural gas and so forth. So
Fair.
frequently locally,
Yeah.
which is that one's hard to replace because now you need a place between the natural gas pipe and the
Yep.
machine.
All right.
Anyway,
Well,
this is
yeah, we'll see how
it's
that plays
happening.
out.
Russia, keep it the fuck up.
Yep. Russia, do not let Putin get rid of your fucking future.
And the
We
other
already
thing
did.
I will tell you is when you go after those gas pipelines, NATO will respond.
Yeah, that's the shortest route to nuclear war.
So
Right, Europe will not freeze to death slowly. Europe will die in a torrent of nuclear fire first.
well, Russia will.
At that point, everyone does, but yes.
Well,
Assuming Russia actually
between the two of
responds.
them, the UK and France
Oh, for sure.
can handle Russia. So
All right, so let's go to our recurring segment. There should be consequences.
So another one, Representative Jody Hice, Republican, always Republican, Georgia, who was former President Donald Trump's hand-picked challenger in a failed bid to oust Brad Raffensperger, has now been subpoenaed by the special grand jury investigating Trump's efforts to fraudulently overturn the results of the 2020 election.
Good.
So
All right.
anyway, slapped her with a subpoena on Monday. They want her there on Tuesday. She's already filed to have it quashed. It's not gonna be. So,
Good.
and I think the courts are getting tired of this shit.
Oh,
Here's
yeah.
hoping.
I wouldn't be surprised to find courts saying, no, do it.
I'll believe that when the Federalist Society has trouble filling one of their symposiums. I'll
Yeah,
believe
sure.
that when, the Koch brothers can't get lawyers on the phone by the truckload. But,
When any company can't get lawyers on the phone by the truckload.
hey, I'll just take it being a handful of the worst actors.
Yeah.
Right? That whoever finds a new way to be shitty can't get a lawyer to do that.
All right. Rethugs keep trying to kill women. What's their deal now?
Well, with the end of Roe v. Wade, we now have all exactly the problems we said we were going to have.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Aggressively.
San Antonio-based Dr. Jesse Munez revealed that a patient recently came to him while she was miscarrying and had developed what he described as a dangerous womb infection. Even though the fetus had no chance of survival, he was legally barred from trying to remove it until no heartbeat could be detected.
Yeah, see, that no heartbeat thing, that's what's going to kill women.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. So the patient had to
Or force doctors to be on the side of their patients.
Yeah.
That has not historically been what doctors choose.
Anyway, the patient suffered for hours, lost multiple liters of blood, ultimately was put on a ventilation machine.
Oh, there went your life.
Said they only moved to operate on the patient a full day later than they should have, and that's how long it took until no fetal heartbeat was detected.
No, the worst part about this is going to backfire in the worst way on Republicans because their whole thing is they want more babies. What's going to happen is there's going to be more of this sort of thing where women are going to have a problem that could be easily fixed and then they'll be able to have a baby later on.
Yeah.
And they're going to turn it into women having to get full hysterectomies and never being able to have children again. And I think that should be a lawsuit.
Yeah.
You should be able to sue these people who put these into state because
Yeah.
now you are ruined, right? Now you had plans to have kids eventually, you were trying to have a baby, whatever happened, and now because they could not provide you with the medical service you fucking needed to be able to protect yourself and your womb, now
Yep.
you're going to lose it and you'll never be able to have children again. So I think there should be some lawsuits going on here.
Oh, yeah. But that's why tort reform was the 90s. So now you can get your $500,000 max cap judgments.
So anyway, at about the same time, Texas mom Marlene Estelle suffered a miscarriage after becoming pregnant last year. But her doctor would not perform an operation to remove the dead fetus from her body because they could be targeted by anti-abortion activists who've been empowered by a law in Texas. So the fetus was stuck inside her, causing increasing pain to the point she had difficulty walking. She eventually found a doctor willing to perform the procedure to remove it, but only after undergoing yet another ultrasound to ensure that the fetus was actually dead.
So they already knew the thing was dead, and they still wouldn't take it out of her. That is
No,
some
they
bullshit.
needed proof, because otherwise
needed
you
more
can be
proof.
You
sued.
probably can't do a Kickstarter for a terrorist ad campaign, can I?
Yes, you can. I don't think that would stop you.
I think you can't use the word terrorism.
She also told
It wouldn't
CNN.
surprise me if you got away with it.
She also told CNN that she will not attempt another child while she lives in Texas.
Yeah.
Why would you live in Texas?
Well, yeah, that's the big thing.
Nice.
is
Well, and it also
if you can
shows...
get out of Texas, get out.
Well, that's the thing, is it shows that she has intent to leave.
Yeah.
So that's
One
good.
hopes.
I mean, she's probably... I mean, you can't just pick up... I mean, you can, but not all people can.
Yeah.
You have to collect
No,
funds.
this is
you
gonna
have
be
to
the
get
worst
shit
part.
together. Yeah, it's going to be weird.
And if it really starts getting bad, I think there's ways around letting them leave. We've
That
done it
too.
before.
They've already talked about it.
Yeah.
So restricting travel for pregnant women. They're all
Well, in
about
this
it.
case, she's saying she won't allow herself to be pregnant, but that's as long as they allow birth control and condoms to be sold, which
Oh,
that's
wait, they've
next
already
on the
talked
chopping
about that.
block. Yeah.
Well, no, I think gay marriage is next.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, anyway.
All right. So about damn time we need some good news, sir.
So, 2 New York residents were charged with illegally using funds from Chinese and Singaporean investors to donate $600,000 to then President Donald Trump's re-election campaign in 2017. The scheme was part of an effort by Sherry Lee and Lianbo Wong to showcase political connections as they sought funds to build a Chinese-themed park in upstate New York. Prosecutors added they raised $27 million for the project, and it was, I don't know that it was ever started, but it certainly wasn't completed. So anyway, made contributions in their own names to a committee hosting a fundraiser for Trump on June 28, 2017. But the funds came from 12 foreign donors. The pair had charged $93,000 each to attend the event with them. So, finance laws bar foreigners from contributing. Lee and Wang are both naturalized U.S. citizens, originally from China, and they were arrested in Long Island on charges of conspiracy to defraud the United States, as well as wire fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy.
Good.
So, excellent. About fucking time.
Fair.
So,
All
keep
right.
going.
That is certainly
Yeah.
not what I was expecting to hear. Fuck.
Yeah, no, that's good. All right. Dumbass of the day. Who gets the crown?
Even though Maryland's a deep blue state, it has a history of electing more moderate Republicans, such as Governor Larry Hogan. However, a prospective GOP nominee for the Maryland Attorney General doesn't fit that Hogan mold. Specifically, the publication notes that Maryland AG hopeful Michael Perayutka is a former board member of the Neoconservative League of the South. He says he's still angry Maryland was not able to secede during the Civil War. Additionally, he believes that gay marriage and abortion should be outlawed for going against God's law. And he has
not a
criticized
reason.
the entire concept of public education as a communist plot whose goal is to transform America away from a Christian worldview.
Yeah.
When was it a Christian worldview?
Should never have been.
And we have a constitution that separates those two.
Yeah. The entire point is
Again.
the church and the state need to be separate. That was deliberately stated, was it not?
Why
Yeah.
they spent the
Multiple
70s
times.
and 80s inventing quotes that would say otherwise.
No, it's pretty clear that the key members of the founding fathers were deeply suspicious of religion.
Oh yeah.
And wouldn't
And
count
had
most
every
of
right
these
to be.
people as white.
Well, and they had recent history.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That most of
But-
the reason a lot of people moved to America was to get away from religious persecution.
yes.
That guy we're talking about running for AG, founding fathers, wouldn't have thought he was a white guy.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Italians weren't white yet.
Yep. Well,
The Irish weren't white yet.
yeah. Okay.
It was pretty much only white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. If only we
Landowners.
had some sort of... Oh, yeah, that too.
All right. So,
Male.
let's move on
Yes.
to our new segment. We discussed previously that Marjorie Taylor Greene makes her way into our dumbass of the day so often she should have her own segments, and now she does. It's called Marjorie Taylor Greene's Smokescreen. So what's she talking about now?
So anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican, Georgia, insisted that women who get pregnant should be forced to birth children, even if it's a circumstance they didn't plan. Yeah, no, we know that that's your goal, right? Again, you're part of the American Taliban, and you're just out there to,
Be a lightning
do
rod.
your religious thing.
Do a
Oh,
fan
yeah,
dance
no,
of
and she's-
turpitude.
Typically, she's out there to get people to talk about her instead of the other silly
Bingo,
shit the
draw
Republicans did this week.
Yep.
But in this case, she gave us the talking points.
Interesting.
She said that abortion rights are personally insulting to her. Oh, you poor thing.
Oh
You
no!
poor
Where are my
snowflake.
pearls? I
Yeah.
need to clutch my pearls. I
Yes.
really
Need a
need to
safe
get me
space?
You
a string
need
of
some
pearls.
pearls to clutch.
I really need a string of pearls.
We'll have to get you 8 pearl.
Yeah, just a single big pearl.
Yep. Um,
Oh, you poor thing. You're so
The-
offended by other people's rights to do their own thing.
No, she wants to take away those rights. And it's not about doing your own thing. It's about women's health. That's what this is about.
yeah, we just talked about
We
two
just
who nearly
discussed what
died
happens
because
when,
of the refug impact on local laws.
Exactly.
it's just fucking stupid. All right, so
The very idea that women's rights don't matter anymore, which is what the Democrats say, Greene opined, our stance is pro-life, is to support women. We support their pregnancies. We support them being mothers, even in a circumstance they didn't plan. No, those two statements are fucking lies, you witless bitch.
They're
You don't support them during the pregnancy. You just insist that they continue it.
and you don't support
And
them
whatever
after
bills
either.
happen are fine with you because, again, medical bills are the number one cause of bankruptcy for families in the U.S. But hey, the Republicans are fucking fine with that.
They don't care.
And support them being mothers. Are you fucking serious?
They do not
Where
support
did you
them
get?
at all.
No.
They don't
In fact,
care.
they have cut all the programs that would have helped in situations where women had a financial reason for not wanting a child.
It seems to be step one of being a mother. Decide that pregnancy was the plan.
Right. No, this just infuriates me, and I could talk about it forever, but ugh. Marjorie
Yeah.
Taylor Greene, shut the fuck up. I'm speaking for every person out there who menstruates. Shut the fuck up. You are an idiot. Done. Okay, so let's move on. Oh, just fuck him. What's going on here?
Yeah.
What have we done now?
So, anyway, CNN analyst Margaret Hoover on Monday hammered Senator Ted Cruz for saying the Supreme Court should now move to roll back marriage rights for LGBTQ Americans. Cruz recently said the landmark case establishing nationwide gay marriage was clearly wrong because marriage is, anyway, she pointed out that he's appealing to rank prejudice among GOP voters, right? He's pandering, and not just to the base of the Republican Party, but to the worst kind of bigotry in the Republican
To the
Party.
lowest
That's
fucking
who
rung of
his
humanity.
base is. I'm not sure they're human.
I'm down for some
So-
blood tests.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, this is, again, just fuck them.
Yeah. No, this is fucking ridiculous. Fucking embarrassing. That's what this is.
It's embarrassing.
People.
It's embarrassing in a modern country, but it's just about par for a failed state, which is what we are.
Yeah. Fair. All right.
going to be if we aren't already, which I highly
No,
think
we are already.
Yeah.
40% of Americans can't tolerate an unexpected $400 expense. That's a failed state.
Yeah.
So, hey, I think we're headed for Somalia.
I hope.
It's better
Yeah.
than some of the other
It'd be more
options.
fun than a kleptocracy and more fun than a theocracy, the American Taliban. And anyway,
All right. Painting over the crazy.
no, we didn't finish. Oh, just fuck them.
Oh, sorry.
So you remember Ohio Attorney General David Yost?
Yep.
Right. He's the one who's been issued the cease and desist letter because he continues to lie about the 10-year-old who got an abortion in Indiana.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Fucking idiot.
And continues to defame her obstetrician. So anyway, I expect we're going to see a lawsuit there.
I hope
certainly
so.
hope so.
There better
If
be.
we don't,
Um,
I'm going to be extremely disappointed.
So first, it wasn't true. It wasn't true. She hadn't been raped. Oh wait, they made an arrest in the rape case. Oh well, then see, the doctor didn't report the abortion. Yes, the doctor did report the rape and the fact that the recipient was a minor, as required by Indiana law. So anyway, he just continues to lie. He went on Fox News and lied. He probably lied after Fox News knew it was a lie. And that may make Fox News liable as well.
I think so. I think you can prove that Fox News knew at the time.
Certainly should
Yeah.
have.
And this is nothing new, right? In 2019, this is a clown who sought to ban an 11-year-old rape survivor from having access to an abortion.
Oh, God. This is gross.
The police report that he was quoting, I'm sorry.
I think if
The
the
11-year-old had been sent to a pregnancy care center, which are these re-thug organizations that try
Oh,
to
those
crisis. Yep.
Those church
and
crisis centers.
it's they try to convince you not to have the abortion, and they do everything they can to delay you seeking
Till you
competent
can't.
medical attention. Right, that's their whole point of existence.
Yep. And then they vanish.
So anyway, the police report quoted them blaming the 11-year-old rape survivor for the incident, saying she was rebellious and wouldn't listen to her mother.
So obviously she should get raped. That's what it says right in the where. That's
Right. I don't know whether I don't know whether this one was raped or not.
Excuse me.
But she was 11 years old and pregnant.
Yeah.
So, yeah, under every state I know of, she was raped.
She couldn't have given consent.
She could not give consent.
Statutory.
Yeah, no matter how you look at it, she could not give consent.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, that's right. So, again, it's this is Attorney General David Yost. He's a pretty standard, theocratic Republican.
I think if there was an FBI investigation into him, we'd uncover some really fucking disturbing shit.
Well, it'd be kind of fun. But
I think like the hunting lodges,
Maybe
you're
he'll
going to
get-
find you run quickly into people who can keep secrets and aren't kidding.
yeah, well, and
It's like Bannon. Bannon's going to go to directly to fucking jail for not all that long, but come out out the other side looking better for it.
we'll see.
It's why Metaphor went down.
All right, are we ready to move on now?
Sure.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't realize you had more. You seemed like you were winding down. All right, painting over the crazy.
Again?
So,
No, we.
on Monday, the Philadelphia Inquirer reported that Doug Mastriano, he's the lunatic Republican nominee for governor of Pennsylvania, he's been deleting his old Facebook videos and so forth, trying to clean up his image. So this is a guy who was espousing QAnon shit.
Well, he doesn't want the clips taken out and used against him. And
Yeah, exactly.
Thank
And
God
that's
for
why
the
we have to
Wayback
talk
Machine.
about him. Absolutely. And he predicts November's election will be marred by Democratic voter fraud. Yeah, right. Wait a minute. Who was it that caused an armed insurrection? It was the Republicans, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's again why I can't wait for all this to shake out so we can actually get some numbers and contrast and compare
Yeah.
whatever slice of the George Floyd protest anyone wants
I'm
versus
I'm kind of curious as to how much of the voter fraud that we've caught has been directed towards helping the Republicans.
nearly all.
Nearly all.
Because I haven't heard of any that have helped the Democrats. Almost
I
all
can
the fraud
point.
I've
I
heard
can
for all
point
the
you
Republicans.
to a. I can point you to a ballot harvesting, where a Democratic city council member, I think, collected ballots to deliver. In a state where the law says only a family member may bring your ballot to the box. So, but it's the only one I've heard of so far. But we've got lots of double voting where people either voted in 2 states or voted their absent, their dead partner's ballot or their dead mother's ballot. And those have, as far as I know, been exclusively Republican.
Yeah, I haven't heard
So-
of those being Democratic yet.
Yeah,
Not saying
I
they
would
don't
believe
exist,
it happens, but
Maybe
it certainly
Democrats are just
isn't
smart
as
enough not to get
common
caught.
as the. Well, and we've seen the Republicans changing voter registrations in Florida in large blocks illegally.
without informing people ahead of time.
Yeah, without their permission in
Yeah.
any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Forcing their votes to be relatively invalid.
So anyway, another of his positions was that climate change is ridiculous and just a theory based on pop science.
No such thing as pop science.
No, there's no such thing as pop science. And we are way beyond any discussion of whether or not climate change is real.
We're
Climate
seeing
change
it
is
now.
absolutely happening, period.
Notice the effects of it.
Yeah. We also know what's causing it. So anyway, he won a decisive victory in the primary, which is excellent because we now have a complete moron running on the Republican Party ticket in Pennsylvania, which, hey, we ought to be able to beat him.
Hopefully.
And he has close ties to a cult-like church known as the Rod of Iron Ministries, which believes
Oh, the Moonies.
that yeah, kind of. They
No,
believe
they are literally the son of the Moonies.
Rod of Iron Ministries.
He is exactly run by the son of the original Mooney founder.
Oh, okay. Anyway, in this case, they believe the AR-15 is sacred.
Yeah, no,
So,
they're intense.
Yeah, that is pretty intense. I mean, I'm all about people owning guns, but
Yeah, not
you know
these
what?
guys.
If I was going to pick a gun that was like sacred, I don't think I'd go with an AR-15.
I think
I'd go with something a bit more out there, like a bit more wild, like a bit more like, why do you have that gun? Like maybe an AUG or something.
This firearm.
anyway,
You know, like
some
machine guns, something
Yeah.
a little bit more
Something more
substantial. Yeah.
The
Yo,
Mac
Madus.
machine gun.
so anyway,
Or
It's
the
the-
AK. 1 in 5 small arms is an AK.
No, that's part of the problem. It's ARs and AKs. You can get them everywhere. There's nothing special about that gun. My point is,
except
make something
it's
different.
sacred. Anyway, some Pennsylvania
God's favorite
Republicans
Barbie
have formed a pact. What?
God's favorite Barbie gun.
Guard's favorite Barbie gun. Anyway, some Pennsylvania Republicans are forming a pact to support the Democratic candidate for governor. So, yeehaw!
I don't mind.
All right. Jury selection advances in Bannon's contempt of Congress trial.
So anyway, he's facing 2 misdemeanor counts of contempt for Congress after he declined last year to provide testimony or documents. He's absolutely guilty of the offense, has no defense against it. So we're going to get to watch a trial. So by mid-afternoon, they had chosen 17 qualified jurors. The goal is to get to 22, and from those 22, a jury of 12 and 2 alternates will be selected to hear the case.
Sounds good to me.
Cool.
Fucking. All right. Not in my backyard. What's going on here?
On Monday, the Democrat and Chronicle reported that Reawaken America Tour, a traveling event studded with prominent QAnoners, has been kicked out of its planned venue in Rochester, New York. The group had planned to hold their event at the Main Street Armory. So anyway, the owner says, I'm canceling it based on an outpouring of concern from our community. So anyway, the Reawaken America event features Michael Flynn. He's the one who said the United States needed an armed military coup. He since tried to say he didn't, but he said we needed a coup just like Myanmar, which was an armed military
I remember
coup.
that, yeah.
And of course, Roger Stone, who just can't stay away from a microphone. Also on the speakers list, Dr. Stella Emanuel, who has posted videos claiming doctors make medicine using DNA from aliens, and Scott McKay and Gene Ho, who have links to the false QAnon conspiracy about a global child molestation and sacrifice ring led by prominent Democratic politicians.
No.
So again, you can understand why people don't want this shit in their communities.
If we were, actually using aliens to advance medical whatevers, don't you think we would be making a lot bigger advancements?
Yeah, you kind of hope.
Show me one gap that isn't baby steps off the shoulders of giants.
Yeah,
This is just
something we got from the spacecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's how I know we didn't get integrated circuitry from aliens or any of the other
absolutely.
baby level dumb shit.
Yeah, because I can show you every step in the development of integrated circuits.
And the same with all medicine.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a lot of that's way more horror show. But
It's
learn your
easier
history,
than
Americans.
that.
It's fucking important and gross. And
I
don't-
want you to tell me how anybody thinks that the greatest secret in the history of mankind has been kept.
no,
Yeah, right.
no,
So
not even a little bit. All right.
anyway,
Mark,
it's
go ahead.
easy to see why people don't want them in their communities.
Right.
And this seems to be happening more often. I think
Oh, yeah,
the Looney
people don't
Tune
want QAnon
rebugs
crazy
have
coming around,
overstepped
yeah.
their boundary.
Oh yeah,
So-
because when you got neighborhoods being like, I don't want that shit in my neighborhood, fuck off, then yeah, this is gonna make it hard for them. So we'll see.
And that's part of the trick that's happened is, right, the internet allows these people to believe that they have wildly more support. We were discussing earlier that the Republicans have wildly overplayed their hand because they've misread a lot of their support as being way firmer than it is.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and they're, the wilder they get, the more embarrassing they are.
yeah.
And that's not going to get you a vote.
Well, and they go back to being quiet once they don't think they're any kind of a majority. It's like
Yeah.
once rural Americans
Right back
figure
under their
out
rocks.
rural Americans are 19% of the American people, yeah, then
Yep.
like a lot of the shit you're getting shouty about is either just a thing rural people are into, like it's not a thing to the hill to fucking die.
I would be surprised if rural people split worse than 60-40 Republican. All right.
All right. It's always about the grift. Well, duh.
You remember Lee and Wang we were talking about that made an illegal $600,000 donation to Trump's campaign fund?
Right.
Yeah, or whatever. Because Trump had this fund to save the election and so forth
And to
and
build
so
a
on.
wall and 9.5 other things.
Yeah, and they don't seem to be spending the money for that. So
Is this the one that didn't exist, or is this one that really did exist?
Is this the one that Ivanka and whoever, Trump Jr., they all had to go get like lessons on what not to do with the money? That
no,
he
that
gets?
was his
charity.
personal charity, which misused a bunch of its money. So anyway, Lee and Wang lived together in Oyster Bay.
It was his personal charity. It was the charity of giving money to him.
Yes, exactly.
Fair.
Had raised $27 million from about 150
personal
investors into their company called the Thompson Education Center. Now, part of this was to gather these investors and charge them for going to Trump events, right? And then get them a picture with the president, right? That was a big deal, and they thought having all these pictures would help them. Well, they knew it would help them recruit the marks,
Right.
but the marks also thought it would help in some way. So, the amount included $16.5 million from people who were hoping to take advantage of the EB-5 visa program, which offers the possibility of permanent residency to foreigners who invest at least $500,000 in a new business. Actually, it's in any business, I believe. It says in high unemployment or rural areas. So, none of them ever received green cards, despite promises from Lee and Wang. Another $11 million allegedly came from investors promised that they would hit it big when the educational center announced an initial public offering. Well, the educational center was never built, and there was no initial public offering. So again, it's just the grift.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Fair.
it's amazing how they cluster around Donald Trump.
Not really. I mean,
Oh no.
he is a grift. Like, he is the definition of a grift.
Tony
he has
lowered the
things
bar.
built, doesn't pay anybody, and then pays them a small amount in fines.
He's not even a good grifter.
And in answer to your previous question, 54-38 Republican support in
I
rural
fucking
areas.
called it.
Indeed.
All right.
All right. Updates with Boomer Rex. Health threats. What's going on?
Just to update Omicron BA.5 again. It is showing more reinfection potential in people who've had COVID-19, including earlier versions of Omicron. It's also evading immunity from the vaccines. It doesn't appear to be causing more severe disease than the earlier variants, and the vaccines are still effective at preventing severe disease and death. So, to stay protected, get the booster shots you're eligible for and wear a mask in public.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are places in California that are back to high transmission. There's some places here locally that brushed up against moderate transmission, and I think, given the July 4th weekend, are probably simply late in reporting their rise. We'll
Fair.
see. And then finally, we'll go with climate weirding again. An unprecedented heat wave is underway in France and the UK, and it's likely to topple all-time national high-temperature records. And it will potentially kill several thousand people. The scorching heat is moving north into the more vulnerable region after tormenting Spain and Portugal. This is climate change-related public health emergency. Hundreds are dead from heat-related causes in Portugal and Spain, and the real toll is likely much higher.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Good luck.
keep it up. Yeah.
All right. So, anybody got anything they want to discuss? I know that Uvalde is trying to make it not sound so bad.
Good luck with that. You fucked up.
Well, what did we find out? We found out that 400 good guys with guns couldn't stop one shooter.
Oh, but we did also find out that one Good Samaritan at a mall was able to stop a shooter.
And by the way, we should say congratulations to him. I saw his name earlier and I can't remember it. Right?
Got it.
Again, you took immediate action. Way to fucking go.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You were better than 400 cops we know of in
Yeah.
Texas. Hey, Texas, you should hire that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It knows which end of the gun is loud and why.
Former deputy head of the FBI said that looking at Uvalde's police department and so on, said it's a small enough organization. What you should do is literally tear it down and start over. Hire new people all across the
I'd
board.
keep the one who at least attempted to assault. Like, that one gets
Yeah.
an interview. But yeah, no, I agree on the others.
Yep.
Clear cut all of that.
Yeah.
And make your training better, because apparently the training they had wasn't good. And if they did have
There's
good
no
training,
way
then
to tell.
fuck.
I want to know that they actually went to the training. I know they got credit for it.
Yeah,
I want to see video from the training. I want to see who was actually there.
Yeah. No, and on top of it,
And I want to see the training, because clearly it wasn't any fucking
and
good.
it's overly quoted, but it is true. Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Yep.
Right, that I think part of this is everyone getting to feel superior because their police department wouldn't fuck this up that bad. And
Yeah, right.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, believe anything you want.
So all I found was his last name, which is Dickin.
Well done, buddy.
Yep. Way to
And I
go.
hear it was a long shot, so good job.
Ah,
Oh,
here
yeah?
it is. They separated it weird. Elijah Dickin.
Okay. Elijah Dickin, you've done a good
Did
thing.
good.
So far, looks like you didn't fuck up, bro.
Yeah.
So Elijah Dickin, he's 22 years old, and I highly recommend you go get a job with the cops because you're obviously better than at least 400 of them in the country.
We're sure
pretty
that's
good.
we're sure that's the name of the one who stopped it and not the name of the shooter.
Armed civilian was identified by police as 22-year-old Elijah
Cool.
Dickin.
Excellent.
Yes.
No, I just wanted to be sure.
I was sure.
So, yeah, I think the shooter was 20. So, anyway,
Yeah, no, this is going to go on. This is only going to get worse
it's going
as
to get
we
worse
guarantee
and
the
worse
trajectory
and
of the
worse
younger
and
generations
worse.
is worse and worse.
Absolutely. Yep.
So Republicans are going to go on and on and on about this because they found their one Good Samaritan with a gun.
Oh, yeah.
So
And hey, I'm all about it. Democrats, shut the fuck up about guns. When
yeah, Jesus.
the means of them lashing out is wildly less important to me than what caused it.
So I have a recommendation for Democrats. The reason you're against guns is because you're afraid of them.
Yes.
I recommend that you go buy one and learn how to use it.
Or at
because
least
on
go
the
to the gun range and rent one and learn how to use it.
You know, it's fucking hell on earth to borrow one when you need it.
It's a lot
No,
less
the
scary
trajectory
to try.
we're on, Democrats, you are going to wish you owned a weapon and knew how to use it.
Yeah.
So,
I think a lot of the focus is more on the guns when it should be on the mental health to begin with. And the
well,
updating
mental
of-
health and all the other stresses, right? So, you've got to raise the minimum wage. You got to stop having people have to work 2 jobs
Give
and
less
still
of a
not be
reason
able
to
to
use
feed
it.
and house and clothe their families. You've got to do something about the health care because you can't have 40% of the bankruptcies in America be due to medical bills. And it would really be nice if we could figure out something to do with mental health, although that one is far,
more
far harder.
complicated.
Well, and that's
In detail.
kind of at the bottom
Not
of our
a-
list right
Yeah.
now.
Money. Cash ass monies.
I think if
Well,
we're
that
gonna
one's
rebuild-
easy. Tax the goddamn
Yeah.
rich and spend the money to make America work for all Americans.
Huh?
And if you can't get your arms around that and you can't move toward it, then you probably need to buy a gun.
Yeah. Well, and even still, you'd still probably need to buy a gun. I'm not trying to be shitty, but, you know. All right. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, heart, follow, review, smash that like button on YouTube. Go to BoomerRexTonight, no spaces on Facebook for fun memes and a link to our Patreon. Give us $1. You can find us on YouTube as BoomerRex, or check your favorite podcasting service for BoomerRexTonight. We can be found on over a dozen different platforms, including Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Samsung Podcasts. Hit us up on Twitter at BRexTonight. And if you Google BoomerRexTonight, no spaces, all links will lead you to us.
Not forget
Smash that like button on YouTube.
Yeah. Don't forget
love
to
you
share
all.
us with friends and family.
We
you
love,
all.
we love you all.
Make them sit down and
Shut
watch
the
us.
fuck up. We love you all. We'll see you back here tomorrow night on BoomerRexTonight.
I was being quiet over here.